man is a danger to you. And me too, tatted on my forehead. Go home, go to bed. I dread something we get this way come when the family unit is overrun. When the structure is undone. Some new concoction. Now I walk softly and carry a big stick. Original gorilla in the midst.
Welcome back to the Franchise Podcast. I'm Joe Arrigo. With me is my partner in crime, my brother TQ.
Yes. We back in the building, ladies and gents. How y'all doing out there right now? How you doing?
Man, I'm great. Look at, we got a big show lined up. We're going to talk about Davante Adams and the Raiders offseason. We're going to talk about the Golden Knights and what they got going on and what they didn't have going on. We got Bill Romanowski's interview from Radio Row. Yeah. But let's start right now with something that's on our website. Griffin Kemp, one of our high school writers, a football writer for us, has a new series out coming out. This is the first part was about a week ago, was the first installment about recruiting, high school recruiting 101. And it was a cool article because he broke down what you need to look for when you're going through the high school process and you're being recruited. Yeah. You know, he talked about pitfalls. He talked about how a highlight film is supposed to look, how to market yourself.
And it's a series. It'll be going on for a while. So make sure you guys check it out. It's like a blueprint, to be honest, for a student athlete coming out trying to get to the next level. And it shows you, you know, the good things and the bad things that you could run into. It shows you the mistakes that can be made, and it shows you the right lanes to travel in.
And who to look out for.
Absolutely. You know, as with anything else, it's a generational shift can begin right between high school and college for certain student athletes, right? And anything that important that can be attached to some cachet or some money or otherwise, it's just best to have a blueprint, to have somebody in front of you or something to watch, something to know, some type of experienced person that has traveled down that road before you. So this is one of the reasons why we were so excited about Griffin actually taking this point to write this article.
Like, well, one, you talked about people that's been there, done that. He has Melva Thompson Robinson, who's UCLA quarterback Dorian Thompson Robinson's mom, former Bishop Gorman Gale, whose recruiting process really took off during 7-on-7. He's one of the few kids that got recruited based off 7-on-7 tape. Yeah. And then when his senior year, he was the one that took over for Tate Martell, and Dorian had a solid year, but his so raw and athletic that took a whole nother chapter, and he can play quarterback at a Division I level. Right. And then you had Nikki Hughes, who's Bishop Gorman Gale cornerback Jeremiah Hughes' mom, who once she took over his recruiting took off. Yeah. I mean, he landed some big time schools, including LSU. So, and Melva actually helped Nikki kind of put her up on a lot of game when it came to it. So,
and it's such a new way, like it's such a departure from what recruiting was in the past. Oh man, you know what I'm saying? It's just a new pot of things that you really got to stir in to kind of get your story out there. And it's so saturated now. With all of the 7-on-7s and spring football programs that are going on, even outside of school, outside of your high school team and everything, it's just a lot, man. So just like to have something to read, to understand, and just to, you know, kind of keep yourself abreast of, you know, the mistakes that can be made on that road. It's just a great thing to check out. We hope y'all dig into Franchise Sports Media over the next couple of weeks to check out this article.
Yeah, the second part of the series is Griffin talking about him walking on at Utah with another person from Utah, and when Griffin transferred to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo in Northern California, a guy walked on there as well. So he talks about both of those gentlemen and them earning scholarships as walk-ons. Yeah. So Griffin's story is very unique, and he's bringing an athlete's point of view. Someone that's been there, done that, talked to former high school coaches and college coaches throughout the process. Right. All this is on Franchise Sports Media, so make sure you guys go check it out. It's called Recruiting 101. It's a series. And, you know, I think it's great because I've been on the other side of it as a parent, and I've been there as a coach. And I've seen it, and I've seen plenty of both sides of it. And I'll leave it at that. And it's great to see someone besides me, maybe Ant, you, and some other people try to educate people on it, because, you know, Griffin's been there, done that. He's a local guy here in Vegas, so obviously we want to support our local local kids and local young men and women.
And it's good timing. You know, you got spring football starting up right now. We've been covering a bunch of 7-on-7s around the city. And you know, a lot of these kids, man, they looking at this is that shot. You know what I'm saying? They anxious. They really want to get to that next level at D1. But
it don't have to be D1, though.
That's what we've been saying for the longest. It does not have to be D1. It does, like, you got options. You know what I'm saying? You need to get on the field and show what you could do. That's the key.
Yeah, the keys is if you look at a roster, and honestly, like as a parent, parents don't want to hear people say it, but it's the reality of it. If you're getting recruited, first thing you look at is roster.
Yeah.
Like, how soon can you get on the field? Like USC may be your dream school, but you got 6 guys ahead of you.
Right.
UNLV may be a school that you could get on right away, and that's just as important to get that playing time early. What you're majoring in, make sure that's strong right there if you have an idea, and then obviously how long the coaches are going to be there. If you got a coach going into his last year and it's a lame duck coach, you have to think twice about that versus you looking at a guy like, let's say, Lincoln Riley, who signed a 6 or 10 year type deal where you know he's going to be there a while. So those are some of the things you have to look at. And then look at the people around you in your competition. You have to be honest with yourself as well.
So give me your opinion on something.
All right.
So let's say you're a highly touted, let's say lineman, right? A defensive lineman, offensive lineman, as opposed to a skills position. You get recruited to a powerhouse, let's say to an Alabama or Ohio State. You got a couple of guys in front of you, but the pipeline to the NFL, you may only get to play 1 year, but that pipeline to the NFL, if you can get in there and show your stuff, for the majority of your college career, you was practicing against guys that are better than you would be playing against on the field. How would you feel if you're that player going into that type of situation?
Well, you know, I know one of the guys that was being recruited to Alabama was one of the schools, and one of the pitches that Coach Saban gave him, and he's an offensive lineman, was you're going to not play your first 2, maybe 3 years. You're going to have 2 years starting with us, but the guys are going against in front of you are first-round picks. Right. And you're going against first-round picks, so you're going to end up being a first-round pick. You have to just earn it and take your place in line. Yeah. And if you outperform the guy in front of you, then I'm going to move you up because I'm in the business of winning football games. Right. So I think that depends on who's telling you it. If Nick Saban's telling me I'm going to wait 2.5 years before I start, but I'm still going to see some playing time, but I'm going to start, and I'm going to listen to Nick Saban. He's got the proof is in the pudding. But if you tell me if that's some dude that pick a school if it's Clay Helton telling me that, I'm going to laugh. You know what I mean? I'm going to be like, shut up, Clay. Like, I'm better than who you got in front of you right now. So, I mean, it depends on who's telling you.
You've been waiting to take that shot for like 3 seasons now, bro.
Hey, I've been nice to look with Clay Helton, the former USC head coach. I said this: he served his purpose. He stabilized the program when they went from
stabilized.
Yes, let me tell you, they went from Lane Kiffin getting fired on the tarmac, and Lane is my homie, and Lane, you got fired on the tarmac. Then you bring Coach Owen to be the guy to kind of take over for Lane, just on an interim basis. Then they go to Sark. and they fire Sark halfway through his season. It's like they were hemorrhaging. So Clay was a stabilizing factor. He kind of kept things in house, and he ran his course. He should never have got the extension from Lynn Swann, but that's neither here nor there now. And I wish him the best at Georgia State.
Thank you for throwing that tidbit there at the end. You know what I'm saying? Good looking out.
For real, I want Georgia State to do it.
Hater.
There's no hater in me, man. What are you talking about? I don't hate on anybody.
I tell you what I hate.
What's that?
I hate the state of the Vegas Golden Knights at the moment.
Here we go.
Bro, what are we doing out here in the desert? When they say there ain't no ice in the desert, we ain't supposed to be busting the grape anyway. Man, is it hitting the fan or what?
Okay, so let me break it down for everybody that may or may not know. So the Golden Knights have been one of the best teams since they've entered the NHL. Their expansion year 4 years ago went to the Stanley Cup Finals. They went to the Western Conference Finals twice, and then they go back to the Stanley Cup Finals and lose. So they've been there twice. So you figure they've been 4 years in the playoffs, 2 Stanley Cup Finals. Actually, it was a Western Conference Final, and then another divisional round where they lost. Right. So last year they were up against a salary cap, bad, like to the point where towards the end of the year they could only play like 15 players. Yeah, which is because they couldn't bring anybody up because they had no salary cap space. Well, this year it's just as bad. That's one of the reasons why they traded Marc-Andre Fleury, their goalie. He was supposed to retire a Golden Knight. I mean, and they unceremoniously traded him to Chicago for a bag of rocks, a hockey stick, and a puck. And just to clear cap space. Well, what ends up happening is the trade deadline was just past Monday. And they have this guy, Dadonov, who is, he was a goal scorer with Ottawa Senators, and he's making between $5 and $6 million. Well, when you trade for Jack Eichel, one of the 2 or 3 best players in the game, and you give him $10 million, and you got Mark Stone on a huge deal, and you got Vegas Bjorn, William Karlsson on a deal, a huge deal, and he's still got like 5 years left on it. You're up, and they have these guys signed to major extensions, and they're not performing. Eichel's performing. Stone is on long-term IL. He should be getting off relatively soon. Robin Leonard, their goalie, has got a torn labrum, and there's talk that he's got a broken kneecap. He's on long-term IL. And then you got Vegas Bjorn not scoring. I mean, went for having 40-something goals. He's got like 16. Yeah. So it's like he's paid to do nothing. Well, Dadonov comes in, and he's making between $5 and $6 million, and he's getting hot at the right time towards the trade deadline. And the Vegas Golden Knights dealt him to the Anaheim Ducks. But the problem is this. When he was with Edmonton, he had a no-trade clause, and there's 10 teams that he said you cannot trade to. He had to turn it in by like June 1st. He turned it in. He got traded a few weeks later to Vegas. And once he got traded to Vegas, Vegas is like, okay, we got to get rid of him. Well, one of the teams that was on a no-trade clause was the Anaheim Ducks. The Golden Knights traded him to the Ducks at the deadline, thinking, okay, we're clearing this between $5 and $6 million of cap space. And the league's like, wait, not so. Or Dadonov's like, not so fast, my friend. No.
Hold on, man. Explain how can this happen? Who did not read?
You know what?
At this level of professional sports, who did not read?
Look, I think the blame has to fall on the Golden Knights. It has to fall on their team president and their general manager. Bottom line is, you should know what's in the contract you're trading for. This is what your job is. Your job is to look at the contracts. Your job is to decide who's going to do what, to follow the salary cap, first of all. Like, I feel like they just look at the salary cap like we don't need to follow it. Like, we're above it. We're smarter. We're the smartest guys in the room.
Come on, man. So you mean to tell me they're basically stuck with a player that they tried to trade?
Yep.
And they're going to have to finish out the season with him.
He's going to play Thursday night. That's the first time he's eligible to play. And they said he's going to be in the lineup. And it is a
certified shit show.
You just took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say that.
Certified. It is a certified. When you feel me, it stinks.
I mean, look, I was at the game.
Smell it all the way.
I was at the game
T-Mobile.
Saturday with DJ Wood, our Vegas Golden Knights writer, right? And Dadonov scored a goal. I mean, and we said right there, like, man, that's so good. It's going to help with the trade deadline. And they didn't do anything else. And this is the part of being arrogant. The rest of the league does not want to help the Golden Knights because what I just said in terms of the perceived arrogance and we're the smartest guys in the room, that's how the rest of the league feels about the Golden Knights.
So this whole smartest guy in the room thing, does this come from the whole Kraken situation? Is that what it's about? Is that because they feel like they didn't succumb to what the rest of the league succumbed to?
Look, give George McPhee, the then general manager, now team president, credit. He found a way to kind of maneuver and circumvent the expansion draft, and it played out well for the Golden Knights.
Right.
They kind of changed some rules, and the Golden Knights didn't, like the Kraken did, the new team in the NHL, Seattle Kraken, they didn't have the same advantages.
Right.
But then I think it's the way they treat people. I mean, look, when you fire Gallant, who was your first head coach, and you fire him after losing a few games, like it was 3 games. Yeah. And then you bring in a guy that he called a clown. Like Gallant called DeBoer a clown. Yeah. And you hire
from your rival though, from your biggest rival.
Yes. And then you bring him in, and it's like you unceremoniously dump him. You unceremoniously trade
the face of the franchise.
Face of the franchise.
The face of the city.
At that time for sports,
sports, that was the face of the city.
You just get rid of him. I mean, at some point you got to look. And then this guy, Peter DeBoer, they're 2-7 in their last 9 games. They lost 5 straight on the road, won 2 at home, and then lost.
This is stuff we've never seen.
And the Golden Knights fans have never seen.
Right.
And that's the other thing. People think their Golden Knights fans are spoiled.
I mean, they don't have anything to compare it to. Like, you can call them spoiled, but they don't know what not being spoiled is. They've been winning ever since they've had a team.
But yet
they haven't struggled. They don't know anything about not winning.
And that's why when they complain on social media and complain whenever, like, oh, our team is doing this, you got people that are like Chicago Blackhawks fans or Detroit Red Wings fans or whoever, Vegas or as their Arizona Coyotes fans, like, what the hell are you talking about? You've had 4 winning seasons in 4 years.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I see a lot of that banter going back and forth too. I look at it as a bit unfair. It's not like this was a town that had hockey before the Golden Knights showed up. We didn't know anything about this. I'm sitting here, I'm on my show talking about hockey.
Yeah, I know.
Bro, come on, man. Like the team came out here and got the whole city fired up. The whole city knows no better. I don't care what the Vegas hockey fan says that they was doing before the Golden Knights got here. Maybe we got some. I understand we got some hardcore hockey fans here, but you wasn't a Vegas hockey fan.
No,
you was the fan of somebody else.
Right.
So the point I'm trying to make is all of these other fans across the NHL. Yeah, they got a point, but that point is moot out here because we don't understand it. We've never seen a team lose before.
Their point
and we
is,
are spoiled.
Their point is how many of those fans here in Las Vegas are born and raised, and versus how many are transplants who have been through this before with teams. And those people are better.
It doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter because we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. We're talking about the Golden Knights. The Golden Knights have never seen losing. Actual, real Las Vegas Golden Knight fans, whether they gave a damn about hockey before the team came or not, it doesn't matter. You think everybody in the Raiders Stadium on Sundays was a Raider fan before? No, that's not the case. Some people are there to be entertained.
Well, you bring up the Raiders, and let's get to the next subject because it's one that
I need to cue some like Dracula music.
No,
I need to cue some real sad, violinish horror. We need to hear people crying and screaming in the back. I wish we had like a scratch and sniff sticker we could put right there on the edge of the screen. You could smell cheese right now. Come on, Joe, let us have it. What's the matter, my boy?
So last week Thursday, I'm on the phone with this guy right here, right? We're talking some business, right? We're doing franchise business, and I get a call and I need to call you back.
Oh yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
And I come back on the phone, and I literally just said, the Raiders just traded a first-round pick and a second-round pick for Davante Adams.
Yes.
And
yes, they did.
My favorite football player in the world.
Yes,
on my favorite team.
Yes.
Went to my second favorite team. But that's not the point.
Come on, man. See. So now here's when this slimy.
No.
This is the slimy stuff that he's been doing all week. All week. 2 weeks ago, he's talking all of this. We got Aaron Rodgers back. We got Aaron Rodgers. Blah 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 blah. If anybody don't know, this guy's really he's a fraud. He's really a Green Bay fan. You know what I'm saying?
I've always said that. How am I a fraud if I'm a front about it?
All up in Raider Nation. We out doing our tailgating and doing what we do, and
they all know.
Giving him daps.
Everybody knows.
Joe, Raiders, go Raiders. No. He's a cheese guy first and foremost, right? So what we've done now, we've taken his favorite player, who he has said for years. It's only been 2 wide receivers. In this guy's mind, it's only been 2 wide receivers in the history of the world. No other players have ever played wide receiver outside of Sterling Sharp and Davante Adams.
That's not true.
There has never been another wide receiver in the NFL except for those 2 guys. And one of those guys is now a Raider. And he has the audacity. All of the crying and the bitching and the moaning and the stressing. See, I know the fam. So I can talk to the fam. I can call the fam and find out the real truth. He gonna get on our platform and say, he's okay. They went to my second favorite team.
I'm not okay with
lies you tell.
I'm not okay with it. I'm highly upset. You know, I am. Like, look, I'm gonna point this out. All the franchise family, I'm gonna tell you guys this. 5 years ago, I told this guy, Davante Adams, best receiver in the game. No, he's not. No, he wasn't there. I stand by what I said then, and I stand by it now. Okay? Every year, best receiver in the game. Best receiver in the game. No. Last year, because there's a slight chance he's going to come to the Raiders. Then he was like, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can be a Raider.
Everybody else was hurt. Everybody else was falling off.
Here's his excuses.
Everybody's just getting old.
So now, when I'm not happy about it because if I'm Green Bay, I would have gave him the bag. I would have gave him the bag last year.
That'd been stupid.
Okay, no, it wouldn't have been stupid. It would have been the right thing to do because he's outperformed his contract. But the bottom line is, he wanted to be here. He grew up a Raiders fan. He has pictures from the 3rd grade talking about he's either going to be an NBA star or he's going to be an NFL superstar, and he's wearing a Charles Woodson's jersey. You got a picture of him in the hospital visiting somebody wearing a Tim Brown jersey. He grew up in East Palo Alto. He's a Red. So you know what? From my selfish side, yes. From the fan side, yes. I'm highly hurt, and it sucks that he's a Raider.
This is the part that I like. Say that again.
From my fan side, it hurts, and it sucks that he's a Raider.
Yeah.
But the other side comes into play where I think the human side, and I look at it just like I'll equate it to you.
Or don't slither out of it.
No.
Don't weasel out of it.
I'm going to equate it to you. So you could sign with one record label and it didn't work out, right? But let's say Dre came and was like, hey, Squeeze, yo, come to Aftermath. Like, you right? We're going to drop these albums. We're going to get you. You may be like, but then you'd be like, hell yeah. So I'm going to be happy for you. Like, part of me is like, damn, I'd rather you stay independent because, you have, but then it's like, it's Dre. So how can you be, and that's someone you grew up wanting to be like, one of the reasons why you do music. So therefore, of course, I'm going to be happy for you. So going to the press conference, listening to him talk, it kind of eased a lot of my burden, my stress. Cause like, you know what? You could see how he was happy to be where he's at. And the fact of the matter is, selfishly, we get to cover him 17 games a year. And I get to see the greatness in person for 8 or 9 home games a year.
This is true.
I'm not mad about that. In fact, I'll put it like this. He will be my first Raiders jersey I ever bought or ever have.
I'm not buying it for you.
You said you were.
I did say that. I
See?
lied.
See, he's a liar.
Yeah. I'm not buying it for him. Why? Because I knew what he was going to do once we started talking about the subject. He was going to slither and weasel himself out of it.
But I didn't.
What we need to do is, I need to call his mom and I need to let y'all hear the conversation. So you can find out the truth about what happened when he found out that Davante Adams was coming to the Raiders.
You're the first person I talked to. And she did talk, and we had lunch with her on Sunday.
He was hurt.
She was more pissed than me.
But hurt.
She's more pissed than me.
Sad.
She was like, I can't
all of
believe
you. All of you cheeseheads. I mean, I've been looking at you on Twitter. I've been looking at y'all are just pitiful.
I haven't said too much about it.
Pitiful. No, you haven't, because you've been hurt.
And I actually wrote about it.
Seriously been hurt. And I told everybody on our last show that I was making an appointment for our man over here, and I want to let you all know that the therapy is going well. He's not going to tell you what's happening, but it's going well. We've been praying for our brother.
I needed it. Hey, that Thursday, man, I think I went through a bottle of something because I was like, I can't believe this. Like, to the point to where, like, Thursday night was hell. I get up early on Friday. I get up early anyway. So I get up early, and I got a text from Arash Markazi, and he's like, hey, Joe, can you come down to Circa and help me host my show?
Really?
And I'm like, yeah, what time I need to be there? It's like 25 minutes. I'm like,
damn.
Hopped in the car, got down. But man,
you was 20 minutes late?
No, I was 5 minutes late. But he knew it was going to be a little longer. But check this out. Know what he did? I'm going to tell you what he did. Made sure I made sure like that drink from the night before didn't carry over to the next day because he kept drinking. He kept feeding me drinks.
So you just kept on going just like a
lush.
A hobo.
Yeah, it was a lush. Lush all weekend because of Davante Adams. Thanks, Tay.
Look, man.
West Side, Hub City, Tay. I love you, but
hey, look, man, I'm glad. I'm ecstatic that we got to upgrade, a serious upgrade.
Dude, he's the best receiver in football.
The receiver position, because I think it's going to do wonders for the Derek Carr haters.
Well, you know what? What it does? It alleviates all excuses.
Yes.
There's no more excuses for Derek Carr. You can't say he doesn't have weapons because he's got the best receiver in the game, a top 5 tight end in the game.
He still got to be protected, though. Still got to be protected. They still got to get him a piece for the offensive line.
Okay, all right. But I'm saying terrible. That's still they signed 2 tackles this offseason. So I mean, and they can still draft one in the 3rd round. That's when they have the 4 picks now, but they can draft one in the 3rd round, potentially.
But look, you know what? We spending too much time on offense. I don't like when we do that.
Well,
we also signed Chandler Jones.
That's how I was going to defense.
All right, that's a big deal.
That's a huge
deal. And then we
deal.
got a hell of a guest. We got a hell of a guest this week, boy.
Yes. Well, let's talk about Chandler Jones real quick.
Go ahead.
He is the best pass rushing defensive player the last 10 years in the NFL. Numbers state that. Don't undermine and don't look past the Rocky Sin addition at corner. Because he's a guy that can flat out play some ball. Like Rocky Sin is a dude. And you got him and Mullen. They signed a couple other corners. I think Arnett was the dude from the Ravens. Another fast guy.
Another Arnett?
Yeah. Not
a good name for us to be.
Not that. This one don't like playing with guns and telling kids to pull up on him on TikTok. Okay.
Oh my God.
Or then get busted after he's traded or released, gets busted at
Jeez, man.
Park MGM flexing on the.
It's terrible.
Yeah. But they added more pieces, and that's what I like.
We also had a wonderful departure from the AFC West yesterday.
Well, that's what Davante Adams did.
That.
That's what it did. It caused Tyreek Hill to want more money, was something that he was asking for, and they shipped him to Miami.
Did he get more?
Oh yeah, he's the highest paid. He's the highest paid receiver in the game.
Gotcha.
Well, on a 3-year average at $25 million, Davante's is like, I'm gonna say 22 and a half, 22 and a
So
quarter.
what Tyreek signed for less years than he would have?
Well, the last 2 years are voidable, so they're kind of like just salary cap.
Gotcha.
Get out. Like Davante's deals, this is 5 for 145 at the 28 average. It's really a 3. And it's like 22 and a half per. So it's like,
got it.
Like 20, was it 65 or something, like 68, something like that. So everything but the Raiders have had a really good offseason. I mean,
they have.
Davante Adams alone is a home run. Chandler Jones to bring in some, even the backup running backs. They got guys to help on special teams.
I just like the fact that they bought game changers on both sides of the ball. It wasn't just like a free agent pickup. They bought actual game changers. Like Chandler Jones can change a game. He gets into his zone and can literally change a game on his own. Davante can do the same thing. And you got a problem, man. You got to stick Davante Adams, Darren Waller, and Hunter Renfrow. What you got a problem there, man?
Well, that's just the Kansas City Chiefs the last few years. Except you don't have that 4-2 guy taking the top off of defense. You got the best route runner.
What's the other dude they bought in from Kansas City? He quick too, right?
Oh,
the other receiver,
Robinson.
Yes,
yeah, he is fast.
Yeah,
but it's like he's not a game changer. Like you got it's going to be Edwards and Adams on the outside, Renfrow and Waller. Then you still got Foster Moreau at tight end. Then you have Robinson. There's a couple other guys that, they brought in that, they probably going to bring in a couple more just, or whatnot. But offensively, they're going to be fine. But there's no excuses for Derek Carr at this point. And you know what? He owes Davante Adams a car. He said, if you come, I'm buying you a car.
Oh, that won't be hard to get.
Tay said he's feeling Ferrari-ish.
Yeah, that wouldn't be hard to get. He can get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Get the man the car, man.
But look, the Raiders do need to address something on defense. James Jones told us this out in Radio Row. He said that they need to get another impactful linebacker. Mm-hmm. And they need to do that. But impactful linebackers, they had one years ago with Bill Romanowski.
Oh, boy.
So
impactful.
Yeah, to say the least. So right now, let's go to our Radio Row interview with Bill Romanowski, former Raider, 49er, Eagle, and Bronco linebacker.
Yes, sir.
And then we're going to come back with a question about music for you, brother. Yeah. So let's go. Bill Romanowski, Franchise Show. With us now on the Franchise Show is former Raider, 49er, linebacker, Eagles, right? Eagles too, yeah. Bill Romanowski
in the building. Need no introduction.
This is when Bill. I didn't tell you this. You're one of my favorite linebackers growing up.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you.
Love the way you played. Love the backstory. Just how you had to grind and work your ass off to get there, and once you did, you didn't let nobody take your job. That's a lot of respect. That's a lot of respect right there. That's how it should be done.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. I was very blessed, and I was around a lot of great football players, a lot of great quarterbacks. Yeah. I came in the league with Joe Montana.
Boy, shoot.
Yeah. Then I had Steve Young.
Yeah.
Hey, at the Eagles, I had Randall Cunningham, yes. Lit it up at times. Couldn't do it consistently.
Right.
And, and then when I get to Denver, are you kidding me?
Oh,
you
my
got
goodness.
Elway?
My goodness.
You notice I left them out because, we're in Vegas. I don't want to talk about the Broncos.
And then probably, my last 2 years, to be a Raider, finish with the Raiders, go to the Super Bowl with the Raiders. I was friends with Al Davis. I'm friends with Mark Davis. You know, I love the organization. I love the Raiders.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I, you know, literally cannot wait to see them get back on top.
Absolutely.
How far do you think they are, or how close do you think they are to get to that point?
I think they're 3 players away.
Would you keep the quarterback?
You know what? They may be forced to. I love Derek Carr. I think he's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
I think he's at times an amazing player. He's had to deal with quite a lot.
Right.
And I just wonder where he'll be, what he can be with extreme consistency.
There you go.
You know?
Which he's never had.
He hasn't.
Right.
And, you know, you look at Tom Brady and what he's been able to do. He had a foundation.
Yes.
And it started, you know, in New England. And, you know, when you get that kind of confidence and what he was able to do over the years with an amazing coaching staff,
yes,
I have just the utmost respect for Bill Belichick. And, you know, Josh McDaniels is a great football coach. And I'm excited for him to be, you know, the head coach of the Raiders.
Yeah. Tell me how you feel about that defense. Made some strides this year, first time in a long time.
Unreal. Right. I think what they did with what they have,
yes,
you know, Gus Bradley, you know, he ought to be president. You know? I mean,
for real.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, he took you know, and you got to give him credit because all the guys they signed that he wanted, you know, they kicked ass.
They did.
You know, and hey, Max Crosby, there were some games when the guy was possessed.
Yeah, man.
And it was unreal to watch.
Yeah.
You know, there's been a handful of games where I could honestly say, or maybe more than a handful, but when you're truly in the zone and you feel like nobody can block you, you're just knocking the crap out of anything around you, and everything is going your way. And I've had that feeling of being invincible a handful of times.
We were talking about it yesterday at lunch. We were talking about you look at like J.J. Watt or T.J. Watt, and Raider fans for a long time, like, we want that guy. It's been a long time. And they finally have one in Max Crosby, it seems like. And you pair him with Yannick Ngakoue. Now you have 2 bookend defensive ends that could get to the quarterback, which alleviates a lot of pressure on the back end.
Yeah. And when I say you're 3 players away, you're a shutdown corner.
Absolutely.
You know, you need another linebacker, and you need an inside pass rusher. That's on defense.
Right.
You know, I tend to talk a lot about defense.
That's okay. We don't mind that.
We love it.
And, you know, they need a speed receiver, you know, and they're close.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the tight end is at times one of the best players in the National Football League, Waller.
Agreed.
And, you know, so to see what they did this past year, to make the playoffs, to be that close, you know, they did pretty damn well against Cincinnati Bengals, and they're in the Super Bowl right now.
Right. And we talked about that. We were saying, like, to be really 9 yards away from advancing, and you never know what could happen.
Yes.
Right. Now, you said linebacker, and we've jokingly, I don't even half jokingly, tongue-in-cheek, talked about, why don't they move John Abrams down to a linebacker spot? Because it seems like he gets lost in space on the back end.
You know what? You know, I mean, he's a physical guy, of course. I love the way he hits.
Yep.
You know, when I first got in the league, I had a tendency to have one speed to me. And, you know, my coaches literally tried to slow me down.
Wow.
And
wow.
And there are times when you take your shot.
Yeah.
But there are times when you come in and you just wrap them up and make a secure tackle.
There you go.
Jonathan Abram wants to blow him up
Every time.
every time. I wanted to blow him up every time.
Right.
And, I had to learn, to be a little more under control at times.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Playing down in the box. I think he played better this year.
Absolutely. It seemed like he took the offseason and kind of reevaluated himself and what he needed to do on and off the field.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to say he got more serious, but there was less going out and playing around. There was more studying the book and being at the facility and actually getting that treatment, making sure his body was right, which is something I want to talk to you about in a minute.
Yeah. You have to realize, and Mr. Bolin, when I was at the Broncos, the owner of the Broncos at the time, and he's not with us anymore, but he was a close friend of mine. And he would always say, he said, you know what, Bill? If you're not here, someone else will be.
Wow.
And there's always
Yeah.
many, many guys wanting to take that spot.
For sure.
And, I always looked at the sideline as failure, and I never wanted to be on the sideline of any game. And I could tell stories of times when I had no business being in a football game anymore, with how bad, I had a concussion or whatever it be, but I was not going to let my backup go in and possibly show that he can make some plays out there.
The Brett Favre syndrome.
Yes.
So let's talk about Nutrition 53 because
Yes.
I know TQ's a health nut. I mean, it's
very excited about this. I'm very excited about this. Please dive into it.
Well, when I left the game, when you leave the game of football, a lot of people said to me, when you started your company, was it all about getting muscle and getting yoked and da-da-da? And I'm like, no, for me it was about lifestyle.
Yeah.
And what do I want, and how do I live the best life possible?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you do that? Sleep is vital.
Yes.
So I developed a sleep product called Lean One Sleep. And I have the top doctors, scientists, nutritionists that I work with that help me develop these formulas. I developed a brain focus product called Lean One Neuro. And there's 27 neuronutrients. And it's like rocket fuel for your brain. Right. And I developed a weight loss shake. And it's not necessarily, a lot of people say weight loss, but it's more about body fat.
Yes.
You want to have less body fat.
Right.
I'm never gonna be skinny. Right. I've got a lot of muscle unless I just completely stop lifting weights, and I don't think that's gonna happen because I like to lift weights.
Yeah.
And I swim a mile a day in the pool, and I live, eat, and breathe this.
Yes.
So I take my products. So anybody out there that wants to sleep better, that wants to think better, and be leaner, Nutrition 53 has amazing products that can help them.
Where can they get Nutrition 53 at?
Nutrition53.com.
Sweet.
And I take care of a lot of guys in the league, and that's kind of pay it forward.
Yeah.
I do that just because I can, and I like to do that. But this is for everyday people that just want to kick ass and be better every day.
Yeah.
Because if you can sleep well and you can think really well,
Yeah.
and you can be leaner, you're going to be better.
Yes.
Man,
all the way around.
Well, I'm gonna let you know, and he knows, he's known me. We know each other for
Come on,
26 years. I want to try it.
Yeah.
I definitely
on
want
it.
to try it because
Okay.
he's on my head about
I'll be
it.
on it, man. Don't sleep.
I'm gonna
Don't
give
eat
you
right.
guys my information.
Cool.
Get a hold of me, and I'm gonna send a care package and make sure you guys are dialed.
I'm with
Yes,
it,
sir.
100%.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And when you come Vegas next time,
Yeah.
I want to take you around. I want to take you to UNLV and show you their new complex and get you locked
I'd
in with
love
some
to
of those
see that.
guys.
Yes, man.
Because I know
That'd be great.
Because your royalty with Raider Nation, I know he's a huge
And
Raider fan.
49er Nation.
And
all
yeah,
that.
he loves
Across the board.
both teams. I can't say that, but
Yeah.
but
Hey,
So-
you know, since 2010, I was doing pre and post game
yeah,
for the Raiders
Right.
in Oakland in the Bay Area, and I live, eat, breathe the Raiders.
Yeah, man.
I love Mark Davis. I think, this is a guy that has been dealt, man, a lot of tough cards.
Boy. has he.
And, I really do believe this last, decision that he made for a head coach and general manager are going to really help this organization. And I tell you what, Mark is, hey, to take over for Al Davis
Hey, that's
is
big
not an
shoes.
easy. Those are big shoes. to
huge
fill.
shoes. He's
They
an
are.
icon.
Yeah.
And Mark Davis is coming into his own.
Yeah.
And hey, it's only been since 2010,
Right.
and I'll say this: I'll put Mark Davis now up against some of the top owners in the game.
Yeah.
And hats off to him. Go Raiders!
Yeah.
I want to see him. Hey, I want to see him here.
Yes.
That's it.
Next
That's it.
year.
That's it.
And I hope Josh McDaniels can make that happen.
One of the last things I want to ask you. And we've talked about this at length. I think in a lot of ways, Mark is doing a lot of things, even subconsciously, is making amends for things that Al may have done. For instance, Mark is the one that actually got the market and the stadium built, something Al wanted to do for a long
Yes.
time. Mark, with the league now, it doesn't seem like the league is out to get the Raiders as much as they were when Mr. Davis had them. And if you look at trying to bridge fences, I mean, he interviewed your former coach, Shanahan, a couple of years ago, which
Yep.
a lot of people didn't like, but
Yep.
it's also to understand what the league thinks of that. And now there's a fence that's mended. And even Jim Harbaugh, there was allegedly some interest and whatnot. And that would have been another guy that I know when he didn't interview or talk to Mr. Davis previous to the 49ers job, it kind of ruffled Mr. Davis's feathers a little bit. And there was some back channel stuff there that may or may not have had a conversation with. And he's trying to make amends and kind of say, hey, look, like I got everything under control. Would you agree with that?
I would. And, when I just see his progression
Yes.
and
Yes.
his growth, and we went in for an alumni weekend, and I tell you what, he addressed all of us.
Really?
And I'm like, I listened to every word.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, he was dead on.
Yeah.
And he's like, guys, you mean a lot to me. You're part of my family.
Yeah.
And and he went on. And the alumni mean a lot to Mark Davis.
Yes, they do. Yes.
And it's not just alumni are coming. No,
No, it's
The-
different.
The alumni are family.
They are.
And
They are.
that was the one thing about Al Davis.
Yes.
If you helped Al Davis win a football game, I don't care if it was one play, you were part of the Raider family.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he was amazing that way. Mark Davis is amazing that way.
That's good.
And it means a lot to him. And the Raiders have never been in better hands. And, you have to have the ownership, coach,
Yes.
quarterback.
Yes.
And, I think Derek Carr has been through a lot of changes. And if he's back this next year, I'm fired up that Josh McDaniels is going to put him in position to win.
Here, here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Super Bowl champion, founder of Nutrition 53, former Raider, 49er, and Bronco and Eagle, Bill Romanowski. Thank you for joining us, big guy.
Thank you, guys. Great to be here.
We'll be right back. FranchiseSportsMedia.com, Mr. Franchise Show. Welcome back to the Franchise Show. That was Bill Romanowski. Big thanks to Romo coming through, and I can't wait to try some of that Fit 53.
Yeah, 53, man. I mean, right up my alley.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Like, I'm really looking forward to it.
He's putting it in the mail for us, so we'll let y'all know
how it works,
how it goes. You
might see me slimming out.
Yeah, right. And that man like chili cheese fries too much, man.
Maybe make that head of yours shrink a little bit.
Chill out, bro. My head is big because of my brain size. I was diagnosed with a larger brain than the average person.
Well, see,
very early in life.
DJ Invisible Man called me a baby head dolphin. I think you won too.
No. He got you dead ass.
Hey, that was funny when he said that. Hey, so speaking of music and Invisible Man, obviously is your DJ. Like, there's artists today. We hear all the time about, you know, younger generation talking about like, this person is a GOAT. I mean, obviously Drake, or they'll be like Young Thug, or you know, like I think in our generation we kind of look at them like clowns.
Tell them how you really feel.
I made it nice. I really look. I'm the same guy that told a guy on my morning show at one point. He asked me how I like this music. I said it sucked. Yeah,
I remember that. I mean, you know, I think we have a unique situation right now when it comes down to just hip hop in general, right? This is the first time where there are like two solid generations of hip hoppers. You know what I'm saying? Like our art form was so new that we didn't really have an old school version yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? It
like
was,
Kool Herc, best MC ever.
Yeah, it was like the beginning of hip hop was it was in its infancy. It hadn't spread out. So our generation didn't get a chance to like banter with the previous generation about who was the best.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that the actual MCing skills between the rappers of the 80s and the 90s, it went through the roof.
Oh, it grew exponentially.
We like through the roof. Whereas between the rappers that we fell in love with and the ones now, it's gone in the tank as far as lyrics. What MCing is about. Like lyrics, flow, delivery, rhymes, all of that kind of stuff. So I think that that just takes us out. When we start hearing the young kids talk about the best rappers, we're comparing them to MCing. You know what I'm saying? Which with most MCing, we understood what they were saying. Right. Like you're getting into metaphors, you're getting into how it flows, you're getting into, you know, what wordplay, right? Right. We can't like when we hear the new stuff, we just tune completely out.
Yeah, for real.
Like, whereas I've been around my son and his friends, I've been around young kids, and I feel like they can get into our rappers 100% more so than we can get into theirs. Right?
Well, that was
I think the other way around. I feel like their beats that the young rappers
crazy
nuts, right? And that's what causes me to bob my head. But I'm tuning out what's happening on top of the beat these days. Whereas back in the day, we was rewinding. Damn, what did he say? What Nas say? Oh, rewind that, play that again, play that again. So it's changed. So it's like I try, you know, we getting old, man, at the end of the day. But like I'm trying my best to have an open mind, because I remember being on the other side of this. I remember on the R&B side how, you know, we be listening to like the new editions and the Jodeci that we listen to it. And my dad and them was like, man, you don't know none of them Temptations, them Four Tops,
Marvin
Ohio
Gaye.
Players, blah, blah, blah. So I remembered that a bit. And this is the first time that there's two generations for rap that we're kind of battling what's good and what ain't.
See, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think when it comes to our generation, you know, I think the epitome of lyrics in our generation, Put on Nature of the Threat by Razzcast.
Oh yeah,
that may be the greatest written song, hip hop song, written lyric for lyric in the history of hip hop.
I mean, I ain't gonna say all of that.
You can make the argument,
but I'm gonna say he was definitely spitting razor blades on that joint.
I mean,
you can tell when an artist is in his zone. That was Razz's tour de force right there.
That was, but that's my point. Like, you have the artists now who just don't. They don't, like, I heard Lil Uzi say it. He said, I can just say whatever and say at the end of it, and people are gonna buy it.
Yeah,
And it's like it's true.
But the thing is like I was saying earlier, that's because it's the producers that are driving the new hip hop. And I don't have a problem with that. Don't get me wrong. And I think that there's just a what you want to call it, like we kind of lost in translation between our two generations about what hip hop is and what people like. Right. So right now it's more so about, look, this is my creativity. This is how I'm feeling in this moment right now. This is what I want to say. It don't necessarily have to mean nothing. It's just meant to make the people move. Whereas at our time, it was so many different subjects and so many different stories that guys wanted to tell. I think that took precedence over the beat.
So when I was in college, I was in a club. We had to be in a club. So I was in like the Cali club, right? Everybody from California was in this club. And one of the topics was hip hop. And the person that was overseeing, the professor that was overseeing the class said, what is hip hop and what's your definition of hip hop? And I stole this from my guy, Jason. We used to call him Imply the Gobbler because he was an MC. And I stole it from him. And I think he had the best definition of hip hop. But I feel, because in hip hop, there's 4 elements. I think there's a 5th. So he said, hip hop is a Black and Latino manifestation of an oppressed culture that expresses themselves through song, dance, poetry, and art. And I think the 5th is representation. That's hip hop.
Profound.
For real. I mean, if you really look at it, and I think nowadays, because hip hop is evolving, because everything goes in cycles. Every music goes in cycles. And Q-Tip talked about it. Off the low end theory, his first rhyme is, back in the day when I was listening to hip hop, my dad used to say it reminded him of bebop.
Yeah.
And I skipped some lyrics in there. I just want to make it quick, but it's true. Like everything comes in cycles. Yeah. You look at music from R&B, and then you got the disco era, and then it comes into more of like what you see with today's R&B is the acts like New Edition, Ready for the World, and then you get into the '90s where you have Jodeci's coming of age. You have. So it's evolving. And I think this is the era hip hop is really evolved into what it is. So with that being said, who do you think are the 5 best MCs now and then?
So all time?
Yeah, let's go 5 all time. Or just not in any order. Just give me 5.
I'm gonna say Tupac is still my number 1 of all time because of, I can say him first and put him at the top because of impact.
Okay, but I got a question with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tupac is the voice of our generation. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, probably.
So who did more for his community then? Tupac or Nipsey?
Probably Nipsey.
I would agree.
But I mean, Nipsey didn't encompass all that Tupac did. And that's why I put Tupac number 1. I don't think it's just about his rapping. I think it's about his plight. I think it's about the things that we saw him go through. I think it was about the subject matters that he chose at a time when
he was a voice for the voiceless.
Yeah, it was like it's just overall impact. I put him as number 1. And on top of that, the man was a movie star. And I mean, he could have been a movie star if he wasn't a musician.
Oscar winning.
Yeah, so like that kind of trumps all to me. Behind him, I'm definitely going in no particular order. Jay-Z, Nas, Black Thought, and who would I put at 5? Probably, well, not at 5, but who would I put in this top 5? It would probably be Andre 3000.
So we agree on a few of those.
Yeah.
I would say in no order. Jay-Z. I'm going to say Andre 3000. Common. Tupac and Nipsey. And I know I left off Biggie. I left off Nas.
You put Nipsey over Nas?
Yes, and the reason is I think
Put Nipsey in the top 5 and you leave Nas out?
yes, and the reason being,
Are you just being a West Coast head?
no,
Being an LA?
no, because I
guy?
could have put AC alone, or I could have put Chino XL, or I mean, I could have gone down the list of Del the Funky Homo Sapien.
Ooh, Dell used to be.
You know what I'm saying? Like I could put a bunch of
Dell used to cut
Mos
up.
Steph, Talib Kweli. I mean, I could drop even Kanye. I mean, I could put a bunch of people in there. But the reason why I say Nipsey is he's the voice of this generation, and he's talking about things this generation that they're not talking about, and he's doing it, or he was doing it, while investing money back in the community. So he was branching off into maybe not movies, but the business side, the side that very few have gone into other than maybe Dre and 50 and M with Shade 4-5. And M has to be up in there too. And Eminem to me took the biggest chance in hip hop.
Yeah, I give you that. I'm looking at top 5, and I have my reasons for picking the people that I picked.
Black Thought was interesting to me.
That's strictly because nobody can rap as well as Black Thought. Period. If I got to put my money on somebody rapping your ass out of a building, I don't care who you are, that's the person I'm putting my money on.
I'm putting my money on Razzcast.
Razzcast versus Black Thought would be epic. I need popcorn. I need a nice, comfy place.
Gin and Super Sacco.
They gonna be sitting there. We gonna be here for hours, ladies and gentlemen. Hours and hours and hours and hours. But yeah, man. I mean, it's so many of them. I mean, at the end of the day, I've been all over this world, right? And bro, I've been in an Indian desert next to the Pakistani border where like it was like a village, and I heard people saying Snoop Doggy Dogg, Snoop Doggy Dogg. Like, listen, man, listen. Snoop might be at the level of like Michael Jackson and Prince when it comes down to fame. Like that is the biggest rapper we have ever seen in this genre.
And Snoop can still rap too. Like,
he can. Yeah,
not
absolutely.
diminishing Snoop at all.
Absolutely. I don't put him as an MC up in the top 5, but as far as like overall impact, like he's got to be right behind. M has got to be right behind. There's been so many. I mean, even going back to LL Cool J.
Yeah.
Like
Rakim.
You better not go on stage after LL Cool J. I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of music you do. I don't care what your voice sound like. Adele, Whitney Houston can come back from the dead.
You got to pick up
Do
panties.
not go on stage after LL Cool J. That is a death warrant. Trust me.
You know, we left Method Man, Redman. I mean, there's a bunch of do you know who slept on? Ludacris.
He is.
People don't give Ludacris the same type of respect that they give other people. So I mean, so I want to ask everybody out there this. Now, you guys watch this, you hear us talk about sports all the time. Who do you think, in no order, are the top 5 MCs in the history of hip hop? And we didn't even talk about Drake. There's guys nowadays that can rhyme their ass off too. We didn't talk about any of them. But who is the top 5 lyricists of all time?
That's a good one.
Next week,
leave them comments, man. Leave the comments on YouTube. Leave the comments on Instagram. We're gonna post this question a couple of times and see what everybody thinks. And like we're not gonna generationalize
nope.
it, right?
All time.
So all our Las Vegas high school football players out there, let's hear what y'all talking about. Who y'all playing in the locker room? Who get you gassed up before the game? That plays a part into it. But I really want to hear this. I want to hear, the young cats that really are into rap, like who do they put on the level of the people that we just
and we didn't mention Cube. We didn't mention. I mean, like there's guys that like.
There's so many of them.
It is.
I think there's a criteria for me. You know what I'm saying? I think that it's a mix between, you as a lyricist, your delivery, your flow, versatility.
Yep.
You as an MC live, or your ability to make songs. All of that. It's not necessarily, I don't necessarily put how many records you sold, because, you could put one guy at another record company and he does a lot better than he does at one.
Yeah, that's the machine behind him.
Right. Or you could put one person as an independent and they'll do a lot better than they did with a record company. So I don't necessarily make that part of the criteria, but those other factors, I think, to me, separate the MCs of our generation with the ones today?
I think I just named like 5 of my favorite. I didn't even did like the 5 best. Because like my next thing would be, maybe we'll do this one next week, the top 5 groups, hip hop groups of all time.
Oh yeah, that's a lot easier for me.
Well, I know NWA number what?
Compton.
I'm gonna have to go to Atlanta for that though.
What do you mean you're gonna go to Atlanta to do what? What are you gonna do? Outcast for what?
Well, the top hip hop group of all time.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about this next week. We got to talk about this. Are you telling me? No, we're gonna talk about this next week. We should have talked about that today. Jeez,
that right there is what we call a tease.
Unbelievable, boy. Well, you know what? We're out of here on that one. We'll see y'all next week, man. My goodness. Did y'all hear that?
Thank you, Bill Romanowski, for joining us. Thank you. We'll see you next week on the Franchise Podcast on franchisesportsmedia.com. Go check out Recruiting 101 by Griffin Kemp.
All week long, baby. All month long.
Remember, Franchise Sports Media, Las Vegas. The best in the West.
Somebody got some explaining to do.